Welcome back to Seven Figures. In today's episode, I'll provide you with an update of the three portfolios, starting with the dividend portfolio, and then we'll do something different and change it up by going to the Bogleheads portfolio, because today's episode is going to focus on the growth portfolio and specifically one stock, which is Beyond Meat. The stock was actually negative last week, and now it's up 25%. On another note, this portfolio has grown significantly. As you can see up there, it's now worth $25,000. So we're really doing this experiment with some real money. And if anything, I expect that we're going to come out ahead no matter what happens, because investing in your future is always a positive thing. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the dividend portfolio to kick this video off. Now, looking at the dividend portfolio, we can see that the total value is 67.21. It's down 15%. This is actually a great improvement over last week when the portfolio was down 19%. The market rallied a lot this week, and we saw a lot of gains throughout the different sectors. Most of the damage in this portfolio comes from the financials and energy being battered. I'm not going to get too detailed on that because I've done that in previous videos. But as you can see down here, when I scroll down to the sectors, and I look at it by gains and returns. On the positive side, we have healthcare, bonds, and technology. Nothing changed since last week, except that technology is up even more than it was last week. Looking at the losses, financials and energy are at the very top. I'm not really worried about any of these companies that are in these sectors going bankrupt or anything at all. In energy, the ones that I have are all big players. They're unlikely to file for bankruptcy. If anything, they'll get stronger after this. They all continue to pay their dividends. On the financial side, all the banks have reaffirmed that they're going to pay their dividends. So I'm not worried about that. If anything, I'm actually doubling down and adding revenue to these two sectors, starting with the financials in the short term, and I'll be quickly turning my attention to the energy sector. Everything else is pretty much still the same as last week, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this portfolio right now. We'll go ahead and move over to looking at the Boglehead portfolio for its performance so far. Now, looking at the Bogleheads portfolio, we can see that it's back into positive territory at 1.23%. The value of the portfolio is $7,596. Remember, all three portfolios have the same amount of money invested in them. This one's up $71. Not really much changed here, except that the equities market improved, and as equities improved, I started getting into positive territory because the bond portfolio, so the bond side of this portfolio is actually already in the positive. This portfolio did stay pretty stable even through the downturn pretty strongly. It never really fell all the way to 30% like the rest of the market. I think at the lowest, it probably went down 8 to 9%, but it still did go negative. My hope is that as this market was negative, I kept adding to the stock side of things, which I expect to reap the benefits of that reinvestment that I did by continuing to add to the equities when the market rebounds, maybe this year, maybe next year. All I know is that in the next 5 years, the stock market is likely to be in the positive. And when it does get to that positive territory, hopefully the reinvestment that I've done into the total world index fund will be paid off even more greatly. That's really it for this portfolio. Not much has changed. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the focus of this video, which is going to be the growth portfolio, and in particular, the performance of Beyond Meat. So let's go ahead and head over to the growth portfolio now. Here we are looking at the growth portfolio. This portfolio is now up a whopping 58%. Nearing its all-time high, which was $10,800. At that time, that was 65% positive growth. That was around February of this year. It's going all the way back up. Just last week, this account was up 35%. But as I've said before, this portfolio can explode up or down very quickly. Why is growth up so much this week? Well, Tesla and all the big tech companies all had a very, very good week. If we go look down here, Tesla is up 307%. Beyond Meat, which is not a tech company, so it's dropped down to Amazon, up 36%. Facebook's up 17%. Google's up 22%. Microsoft is up 42%. Alibaba is up 21%. Netflix up 45%. AMD up 83%. Beyond Me, Uber closed its gap. It went up a lot this week. Invite is going to be recovering really soon. But a lot of the tech companies have all jumped up significantly in the last week. But nobody had a better week than Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat was in the negative when I showed this portfolio last week. And as I've said, I would be adding to this, and I always add to whatever is negative. So the last couple of days, I've been adding heavily to Invite. I was adding to Uber. I was adding to Facebook when it was in a negative. I'm going to stop adding to those, and I'm going to be adding back on just the negatives, just like I did with Beyond Meat. Bringing my cost basis down is going to help me get to the positive quickly. So I haven't added to Tesla in months and months because it exploded right off the line when I started this portfolio. But you might be asking, why did Beyond Meat have such a good week? Well, there's this little crisis that's been going on for, I think, the last month and a half to 2 months in the US, but it's been happening all over the world. And it's finally hit our food supply chain, and it's completely wreaked havoc on the food supply chain. If you've been watching the news, then you know that America and pretty much the rest of the world is going to face a meat shortage in the coming weeks and months. The best company positioned to take advantage of that is exactly this company, Beyond Meat. It just exploded in the past week. It was under $100 to start the week, and then ended up at $133. Basically shot right up 40%. I added this to one of my other accounts at like $80 a share. I wish I had bought a bunch of stock, but I didn't. And it's been up since then. I think it's up over 100%. But if you look at the food supply chain, all the meat producers have been facing issues because of plants being contaminated by the virus, and then that hurting their ability to operate. They've had to shut down several food processing plants throughout the US. Just look down here in the news and you'll see Beyond Meat is going to keep growing because of what's happening during this period with the crisis that we're facing. If you've turned on your news channel anytime soon, you've probably seen that a plant somewhere is either closing down or getting ready to close down. So I think Beyond Meat is well positioned to continue having positive growth and to continue gaining market share from the meat producers in the coming months and the coming quarters. This is a stock that I expect to, go right back up to those crazy numbers where it was about $200 to $300 a share in the coming weeks and months. But that's really it for the growth portfolio and the total experiment that I'm running here. If you like the concept and you like the content, please subscribe. Otherwise, hit the like button as well so others can actually see the videos. Thanks and have a good day.